Hello and welcome to this week's Motor Week. Coming up on this week's show, it's fast and furious as we focus on Formula 1. Richard Hammond puts his foot to the floor in the Evo 7, and the S Type Jag is under the spotlight.
So many things in life these days are grey. Our parents are going grey, the skies are going grey, and imported cars are grey. You know, the kind of cars that are legally imported for resale, Previas, Shoguns, that kind of thing, suitably grey. But this next car, if you call it anything remotely grey, it'll bite your bits off. It's the brand new Honda Integra Type-R. Now just to reiterate and get all of the bad news out of the way, first off, this car is for imports only. I'm sorry about that, don't complain to me, write to your MP.
Now, to say the styling at the front is aggressive would be like saying that Norfolk is a bit strange, a huge understatement. The lights and grille here have literally got teeth. The wheels complement the unsubtle look with bright red calipers and 17-inch alloys.
Now, the aggressive looks are no accident. The designers had a brief to create a car more suitable for the American market. It had to be strong and athletic looking. And as that rear spoiler testifies, the Americans don't do subtle. The lack of subtlety doesn't stop inside the car, as you can see with these bright red Recaro sports seats, which are very snug and do the job. Now, the car is noticeably taller, wider and more solid looking than its predecessor. And inside there's a full extra 6 centimetres head clearance to allegedly allow taller drivers to wear a crash helmet inside, because of course the racetrack is where most of these cars are going to end up. For me, it's just the open road. Now, the engine capacity has been increased from an 1800 to a 2-litre engine using the same inline 4-cylinder 16-valve fuel-injected VTEC engine. Nothing dramatic about that, I hear you cry. Well, cry is what you will be doing when I tell you that it produces a huge, a staggering, a frightening 225 brake horsepower, enough to rocket you in your Recaro seats from 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds and on, where legal, to 145 miles per hour. It's for import only. Now, there is a fashion at the moment for very high revving, tuned to the max engines that only produce their power when you've got the engine screaming like a banshee with a beard caught in a zip. And what they do is fail to produce it low down. But on this, the power and torque curve is a lot flatter and much more refined, so you get power right the way through the gears and rev range. Now, Honda have made some staggering claims about the improved rigidity of the new chassis, and it certainly feels superb. And braver men and women than me have said that you're able to corner a good 10 or 15 miles an hour quicker, but not me, and not in this rain. Now, the 6-speed gearbox is an absolute joy. It's got short shifts that are precise and, well, just, it's the closest thing you'll get to sex in a gearbox. I know that's sad, but it's just lovely. I showed it to the director and we all went, ooh. And unusually for me, I really like the dash and the layout of the dials. They've got a lovely lit up effect and it's all bright red and, oh, sexy, sexy. Wonderful. Honda have undoubtedly improved what was already a fantastic car. And at the beginning I said we were going to get all of the bad news out of the way, but there is one more piece of bad news. This car could cause you serious, grievous wallet harm, because depending on what extras you have, it's going to set you back between 23 and 25 grand, and I think that's a lot. But nevertheless, it's great fun. I'm having one.
71 years ago, Le Mans, the racetrack would have just roared with the sound of the big old Bentleys and blokes with moustaches wider than the cars driving them on what was really a road track at that time. Then they disappeared, then 70 years later, last year they were back, and they're back again this year with this, and it's a bit different, Bob, isn't it? Really? It's not quite the car that it used to be, and it's got your tyres on it, which is the renewal of an old partnership.
It's very much the renewal of an old partnership, and this car is very different from the one that we'd have seen 70 years ago. 70 years ago they might have done 100 miles an hour. In 2001 this car was going down the Mulsanne Straight in pouring rain at 200 miles an hour.
What about the tyre? I mean, the car, yeah, clearly, you just wouldn't recognise it and you can't compare it to the old car. What about just the tyres? If we had a tyre on the table here, I mean, it's just black and round, isn't it? Made of rubber. They're not that different, or are they?
It's black and round, it's still made of rubber, but that's about the only similarity between now and 70 years ago. What we've got on this car is a very high-tech product indeed, with a lot of very high-tech modern materials hidden away beneath the surface of the tyre that you can't see. But for a tyre to withstand 200 miles an hour, and at that speed this car doubles its weight because of the downforce of the airflow over it, that's a huge challenge.
So this is where it gets, and where motorsport gets really, really scientific, and where we really can't understand, because as far as I can see, there's tread pattern and width and profile, and that's it with tyres. It's a tremendous amount more. How much does it contribute? I mean, bad tyres, forget it, you're not going to win?
Bad tyres, forget it, the car probably won't even finish the race. So, but good tyres, yeah, you stand a chance of winning. And as we did last year with Bentley and Dunlop back on the podium, you know, after 70 years for Bentley, it was 10 years since Dunlop had been with a major works team.
So what about between the tyre manufacturers? Is it a friendly place and just friendly, gentle rivalry? Is it fairly rude?
Oh, it's as friendly a rivalry as you would expect with multi-million-dollar budgets and absolutely cutthroat competition.
I mean, it is fairly ruthless, isn't it, really? You guys are out there to win and beat the others.
When that flag drops or those lights change, it's very, very competitive.
How's it going to go this year, 2002 Le Mans?
We're very hopeful. We got on the podium with this car last year, 2001. 2002, already there's a huge development programme underway, both of the car and with the tyres.
Well, we wish you all the very best in partnership with Bentley. I'm sure it will go well. And just finally, can you just talk to you about tyres for my road car? You carry on looking around. I need to talk to you. Do you do anything for escorts? About a 19,
Ford Escort.
Something a bit more ordinary.
We could do something.
That'll do me, Bob.
This year's Detroit show harvested another bumper crop of creative concepts, and Motor Week was there for you. On the General Motors stand, ex-Chrysler boss Bob Lutz presented those performance concepts to the waiting crowd. 2002 is the 100th year of the Cadillac brand, so this car is called the CN, Spanish for 100. The stunning exterior is matched with a 7.5-litre V12 North Star engine, and it's packed with gadgets galore from night vision to StabiliTrak. The design has been inspired by the F-22 stealth fighter, but it's also unmistakably Cadillac, from the insignia on the front to the characteristic centre line crease in the rear deck. The car's designer is Simon Cox.
We felt it was fitting not only to have a concept that showed where Cadillac has been in terms of performance and technology, but also where it's going to go in the future.
And how's this for a retro concept? This is the Chevy Bel Air concept, which celebrates the American icon of the 1950s. The design features the famous Beltline kick-up of the originals, and also captures the elegance and comfort of the old Bel Air. Under the hood, bonnet, is a turbocharged Vortec Inline 5, giving 315 hefty brake horsepower.
It's affordable, it's a fun, open-air vehicle. It's all about fun. It's a fun, exciting vehicle with plenty of room in the rear seat. Enough room for 4 adults in this vehicle, or I can see a young family with their children in the rear seat. I just see it as this open-air experience. It's just a lot of fun.
And from General Motors' Pontiac division, this lightweight 2-seater roadster offers open-air motoring backed up by 220 horses of fun. You'll notice the distinctly European styling here. Maybe Americans are wondering why so many of their brash creations don't sell that well over here. This concept's called the Solstice and went from sketch on the back of a diner napkin to computer simulation to reality in an amazing 4 months. Plus, it uses lots of off-the-shelf parts to keep the price low, as a result of a challenge given by boss Bob Lutz to the design team.
I've always been fascinated by the idea of the small, affordable roadster, and I see everybody else sort of doing it wrong. You know, the Honda S2000 got too expensive, the BMW Z3 is too expensive, Porsche Boxster is too expensive. And I see no reason why you couldn't do something like that and target it for more like around $20,000 to maybe $21,000 by using excellent high-volume parts out of the General Motors parts bin.
But those Detroit designers are obviously doing their best to please the new boss, as this is another version of the Solstice that was put together quickly as a bonus for us. This is the Chevy SSR, which the General Motors blurb describes cheerfully as part roadster, part pickup, and all fun. It's based on a mid-sized truck platform and apparently cuts the frontiers of science in the stability stakes, thanks to its special frame design. The designers will soon see if the hot-headed youth of America can really roll over the new Chevy SSR, because the reaction has been so good, this concept is going into production this summer. And this is the Hummer H2. Oh, what an enormous car truck thing! The H2 muscles its way to American showrooms early spring, with more comfort and refinement than ever. Now isn't this bizarre? This brute of a military vehicle taken off the warfields, and now they're marketing the Hummer as a kind of overgrown Range Rover. Just right for picking up the kids from school.
After the break, we fast forward to get a glimpse of the new Evo 7.
The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6. What a car! So good, in fact, that I made this my car of the year for 2001. But just when you think you've seen it all, when you think it's as good as it can get, as leery, as fast and as exciting as you can be in a car, you find out they've gone one better. But now, thanks to a friendly local importer, I get to go in an Evo 7. And better still, this one has been modified. Cue big exhaust shot. Oh, straight away! This is a completely different game. 382 brake horsepower. That's 382 brake horsepower. Of course, it has been tweaked. It's actually still the same engine that in standard form is 276 brake, but we've got 382 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Hello. Okay, I've got to compose myself here, talk sensibly about the car and try and get past the fact that it's got 382 brake horsepower, which is a heck of a lot. In standard form, it has 276 bhp from the same engine as you found in the outgoing version, or the current over this country, but the soon-to-be replaced version. But what else have we got? Well, I'm in a car, and I mean that it's nice. There's nothing wrong with the old one. I love the Evo 6. It's gorgeous, but the interior is dire. This is actually a pleasant place to be, which makes a big change. Whereas the Evo 6 was all bucket seats and bland dashboard, the Evo 7 looks and feels far more refined. There are still those racing seats, but the dash is much sharper and there's a visible element of design here. It manages without getting boring to become high-tech and certainly up-to-date. Again, where the Evo 6 was all brashness and in-your-face, things are far more subtle with the newly evolved Evo 7. Those huge splitters and spoilers are still there, but this time they don't look so much like they've been bolted on. You almost can't see the joint. And I actually prefer it, but even though if it does look a bit more grown up, it still feels the same leery old beast to drive. The ride is not crashing, but you feel absolutely in contact with what's going on underneath your wheels. It actually steers a bit quicker. It's only 2 turns from lock to lock now. It was hardly slow before, but that does sharpen it up even further. And then there is that continual delivery of torque and power to the wheels. It is still about the most flattering car you can drive. You feel like a rally superhero every time you take to the road in this thing. It's a game. It is absolutely a big game. And just to emphasize that game feeling, I've got a button down here on the dash. ACD, it says, and a picture of a differential on it. That's because I have control over the differential and I can change the characteristics and the split of the engine power from front to rear wheels according to tarmac, gravel or snow. I'm on rally stages, I'm in a game. And just to make the point about a game, try this. Important stats. If there's one thing the Evo's always been able to do and still stars at, it's having an entirely split personality. One minute you're tootling around town, waving and smiling at Mrs. Miggins and everybody's friends. The next minute, there's a faint twitch of your right foot, and all heck is let loose. There's no doubt about it, we live in a world that is getting ever more comfortable and homogenised and eco-friendly and sensible and sober. And so I was worried that the new Evolution might do the same, get a bit flabby and soft around the edges. It hasn't. Not at all. It does feel a bit more refined, perhaps. It maybe is a little more comfortable. But it is still a hard-edged driving machine, which is great. There's no doubt about it. It has grown up a little bit. If the 6 was perhaps a bit... The 7's a bit more... It's true, without sacrificing that magic drivability, it's managed to mature, to grow up. It's become a sensible car. My accountant might like one. Yeah.
Okay, it's car recognition time. Maybe this shot is a little too far away. Does this help? How is your recognition of body panels? So this may not be fair. Any ideas yet? It's a vague Mondeo shape, but no, of course it's a Jaguar S Type. But this is the latest incarnation of the successful Jag, the S Type-R. Here, R could stand for racy, roaring or runaway success, for this is the all-new supercharged 4.2-litre Jag, which is the most powerful Jaguar saloon ever. We're talking 400 brake horsepower here, and everyone at the Detroit Motor Show was talking about this when it was unveiled the other day at the Jaguar stand. After getting behind the wheel of this monster, the entry model 2.5-litre V6 will seem very tame indeed. You'll get from 0 to 60 in a claimed 5.3 seconds with a limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. There's a new 6-speed ZF automatic transmission to complement the other upgrades, which include higher rated springs, Brembo brakes and new CATS adaptive damping, which staggers the stiffening of the rear dampers ahead of the front ones to give really sharp cornering. Inside, all the revised S-Types have a new dash similar to the X-Type, and the new sporting interior of the R features leather-trimmed R Performance steering wheel, touchscreen telematics, and hugging sports seats which have 16 separate positions plus memory on the driver's seat. Jaguar claim we'll get all the bangs for our bucks the Beamer offers, but with more sophistication, refinement and luxury. We'll find out when the new revised range of S-Types go on sale in March of this year.
Finally tonight, let's catch up with the news in the world of Formula One. It may be winter, but the mighty machine never sleeps, and the teams have been busy testing, tweaking and unveiling. Toyota make their first ever Formula One entrance with this, the TF102, the successor to the 2001 test car that we featured before on Motor Week. It does look the business, but then you didn't think they were going to enter a Toyota picnic, did you? It won't be a picnic either for this team, as they obviously have very strong competition on their hands. But Toyota are putting a lot of cash and talent behind this project, as seen at the big launch here in Cologne, including the excellent Mika Salo and Alan McNish.
Certainly with the first year of testing, I think it has. We've probably achieved about 95% of all the things we wanted to do, but I think that is as expected. Now we're really focusing on the year coming up, and that's the important one, not the one that's been.
Toyota is the third biggest car company in the world, so they've certainly got the muscle, but they haven't got the experience or the knitted-in team so essential when every split second counts. But Toyota Motorsport President Ove Anderson is confident that his new team has a fighting chance when they debut in Melbourne, Australia in March.
We would like to be able to qualify, I hope, it's a minimum requirement, finish as many races as possible, and basically learn about Formula One. The whole team needs to learn to work together. There's a lot of things that has to fall in place in the first year of racing.
Toyota Motorsport has been based in Cologne since 1979, and this facility was formerly the site of the company's World Rally Championship and rally programs. It's in fact the only Formula One team to be based in and to build an entire car in Germany. The team also has a long-term eye on the future and has a young drivers program, including the nurturing of 20-year-old Australian Ryan Briscoe, 17-year-old Frenchman Frank Pereira and 17-year-old Swede Alex Storkenfeld.
That's it for this week's Motor Week. Next week we're proving that size isn't everything as we put small cars under the microscope.